Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV, and we're here for another show of the Arsenal gossip column, as usual. It's more moaning about Arsenal, pretty much. Yeah, let's get straight into it, shall we? We've got Brandon from True Gunners TV. How are you, my friend?
All I can hear is that bus. You're gonna have to. You're gonna
I
have
know,
to mute.
man. I'm nearly
You're gonna have to
home.
put it on mute, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. Obviously, it's been an interesting week to say the least. But let's not get into that too much. But yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah, let's try and stay out of that one. We got Luca from This Is Luca's Life. How are you, mate?
Big up, man. Apologies about the bus, man. But no, yeah, I'm good, man. And thanks for having me on, man. I hope you guys are keeping well.
Wicked. So, obviously, like, we've had the North London derby postponed. We've got the EFL coming up, and there's talks about that one and whether that will go ahead. There's obviously Burnley calling off their game after they're selling players as well. Right? Now, I've already made my voice very, very clear. Like, Arsenal have put themselves in this situation, right? So it's down to them, right, for their responsibility. And for one COVID case, they should not be calling it off. So I'll start with you, Brandon. What did you make? What do you make of all this?
I certainly don't agree that the game should have been called off. 100%. However, I will sit here and I will say, well, the Premier League set the rule. There's obviously clearly a loophole in that rule, and Arsenal have just used that rule to their advantage. And at the end of the day, I think the Arsenal board and Mikel Arteta and the players probably looked at that game at the weekend and thought, well, it's such an important game in our season. Can we really afford just to play the kids or whatever? I think if we was playing a team like, say, Newcastle or Watford or on down the bottom end of the Premier League, and it wasn't such an important game, I think the game would have gone ahead. I think we would have just played the kids. So I don't know. It's a tough one, really. It's like credit to Arsenal for not being this team that just bends over and just does what they think is right, rather than sometimes you've got to use things to your advantage, and they used their advantage. So credit to them for that. At the same time, I don't think you should be blaming football teams for using that rule. I think the blame has to go to the Premier League, because at the end of the day, they created this rule, and there's a massive loophole within it, and they need to alter that rule if they want games to stop being cancelled. It's as simple as that.
Would you though go as far, because I've made it very clear about the way Arteta's managed this squad, and all three of us, we all know Arteta out, but I've quite clearly said, if you're sitting there and you're still loaning out players, you're still getting rid of Kolasinac and Marie, right, while you're sitting there saying, I've got no players to play a football match. So, like, for me, and I think the main problem's been the midfield. We've got no midfielders to play the game, right, apart from the Congo and Patino. And because that what happened against Nottingham Forest, he didn't want to risk it in a North London derby. So he would take the easy option, I would say, in that sense. And yeah, for me, I've got to look at Arteta and think, if it's due to your squad management and the fact that also other players are fatigued because you played them too much, right? We're now in this situation. So why should you deserve to get a game called off because of one case, right? And basically your fuck up.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely agree with you, mate. I definitely agree with you. But what I would say is, again, it comes back to the Premier League, doesn't it? They've got to change this rule. They've got to sort that out, because at the end of the day, if you was Arteta or you was Edu or you was part of the hierarchy at Arsenal, you would be looking for the same thing. You'd be looking to call the game off because it's
Yeah.
the best thing for the football club. And like I said, mate, I don't agree with it. And you're 100% right, mate, about Arsenal still continuing to loan players out, but then sit there and say we haven't got any players. And you know, I kind of said this on my channel. We had a window of opportunity there. You know, we got the game called off, and between Thursday last week up until now, we had an opportunity to get a couple of players in to fill the void in the midfield that we so desperately need. And we haven't done anything. We've just sat on our thing, you know, sat on our hands doing fuck all again. Edu's
Yeah.
probably out jet skiing, you know. And at the end of the day, unless Edu all of a sudden turns into the genie from Aladdin and starts granting wishes and fucking pulling magicking players out of his arsehole.
Well, he wants a genie. He wants a genie one out, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it, mate. So it's like, unless he starts magicking players out of his arse, we ain't getting any players in before this Liverpool game. And it's like, it's such an important game as well in our season. I'm so disappointed with how this football club is being run. But this is a typical Arsenal thing, isn't it? You know, we see this every single January transfer window.
Yeah.
I think somebody actually mentioned in my comments on one of my streams the other day that the last time Arsenal actually bought a player, as in like paid money for a player in a January transfer window, was 2018 at Aubameyang. That's how long ago. And since then, it's just been loan deals, swap deals, loan deals,
Yeah.
swap deals. And I very much expect to see the same thing again. But just
This
because
is
they
the
had
thing.
one good transfer window in the summer doesn't mean we can afford to stand still right now. And that's the thing that's pissing me off the most, mate.
This is the thing, and I've said this quite many a times to people at the start of this window. What really makes you think that we're going to go out and do this, that, and all the other? Like, this is Arsenal Football Club. Like, we don't take all month to sign one fucking player. Like, let alone you want 2 or 3, and then again you're looking at a striker. Like, you do know that's a distraction for what the actual problem is, do you? You really do that. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Mate, that whole striker deal, right? This is another thing that's getting on my tits at the moment. The media, right? How many times we've heard about Vlahovic all summer? One day he's coming to Arsenal. Next day he's not coming to Arsenal. Then he might be interested. Then he's not interested. Just make your fucking minds up. Do you know what I mean? Like, either we want the player or we don't.
Yeah.
Either he wants to sign for Arsenal or he doesn't. If he doesn't, move on. It's not difficult, really.
It's not
And
difficult.
I think the reason why there's so much hype around Vlahovic as well is because if, for example, we got beat by Tottenham and that game went ahead, yeah. If, for example, say we lost on Thursday and we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, he would be let's sign Vlahovic and that will appease the fans and they'll forget about the fact that we just lost and we potentially be out of the top 4 race. They'll forget about the fact that we're now out of the only domestic cup that we're in all season. And that's just the typical thing to do, mate. The fans are so easy to please. It's unreal.
Yeah. Just quickly with this comment before I get Lucas' opinion. Not the Prem's or Tottenham's or anyone's fault that the recruitment team screwed up summer transfers. They still have not bought Zakaria, a box-to-box midfielder, for £6 million. There is value in the market. Right, there's numerous players. You could look at Kessie, you could look at Sanchez, you could look at Ronaldo, you could look at... there's plenty of options, right? Do you know what? Arthur fucking Milo, like, anyone that will just come in for 6 bloody months and fill a gap, right, will bloody do, right? He only needs to really play 2 or 3 games until the AFCON's over, right? It's not hard to ask. Luca, what's your take on it?
In my opinion, right, with the North London derby called off, I think the game should have gone ahead, in my opinion, because, like, how I describe it is that we had so many players out with COVID, right? Like
We did. We had one.
Odegaard's obviously got one out at the moment. Obviously, we can't fill in a team at the moment. In a way, it's sort of the right thing to do that Arsenal did get it called off, because I understand Tottenham fans were very frustrated. Right, would you play Arteta? This isn't 2012, right? But what?
No,
But no, as I was saying,
I'd rather play Vinay in the midfield, mate. Fuck Teta.
mate, I'm sure his
Get
weight.
Eddie back.
I'm sure his weight, Brandon, will be absolutely more a pleasure to actually play. But no, anyway, as I was saying, with all the injuries we've got with like Smith Rowe out and all that, Arsenal had about one case as well. I still think you could have played the under-23s. It's just, in a way, it probably was the right thing that Arsenal did. But all these games getting called off, it's just getting a joke at the end of the day. And there's all these rules in this whole display.
Well, I don't think it's the right thing, because you've sold players. If you're selling players, why are you calling games off because you've got no players? You're contradicting your own
Well, it is
argument.
Arteta's fault in a way, because obviously we're sitting here in the transfer market, no freaking players in, right? You should have bought the players in right at the start of the transfer window. Then we
Or
wouldn't
kept the ones you already had.
wouldn't have had these games called off. And this is why Arteta's left us in a bit of a mess.
And the people are saying that the other argument is that Smith Rowe out, Saka's out. Why are they out? Because you've overused them.
Of course,
Saka's
Arteta's overused them. And we've touched on this before,
Saka's
Stephen.
not rested since 2020.
We've touched on this before, Stephen, on both of our channels, right? We've talked about Saka's not had a proper rest since the first lockdown. So
Yeah, that was the first thing I said about it.
Well, yeah, you did, but at the end of the day, Arteta has put ourselves into this situation. Why have we not gone out and bought these midfielders? We need a midfielder, man. You go and get Jimmy Wijnaldum on loan, 6-month loan deal, right? You go and get these sort of players, but we're just sitting there doing nothing constantly. Every day I count down the deadline day, right, until it comes, and we ain't signed anyone.
Jesus, yeah, that's sad. You count it down. I totally ignore it. I just count it like every other month. I didn't know it exists.
Vlahovic, right? What Brandon said, he makes a very good point. 1 minute Vlahovic is coming, 1 minute he's not. But now people are saying that he's going to come in the summer. It's like, are we get a striker or not? We might as well go out and spend all this money on a midfield. How much we want to get rid of Aubameyang, right? I wouldn't have him back in the team anyway. But why did we send players out on loan like Bannigan? That is what I don't understand. Like, the thing is, Arteta and Edu, man, I don't know what Edu is smoking right now in the January transfer window, right? He's probably flipping on holiday somewhere because it's too cold in England, right? But at the end of the day, you're just sitting here, right, doing nothing. You go and get someone like a Jimmy Wijnaldum. You go and get someone experienced. You just pay the money for someone like Bruno Guimaraes. You're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah,
and
Bruno
just waiting
Guimaraes is
for
not coming.
like Partey's team
way.
are knocked out of the African Cup of Nations. I've just seen a notification just come up, right? So he'll be returning for the game on Sunday. It means we ain't getting a midfielder in.
Ding.
He's not. I wouldn't. I don't agree with you on that one, mate. I wouldn't say that he's sat there doing nothing. I think he's just at 10 Downing Street partying with Boris. You know, I don't know. I've just got that feeling.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know what I mean? Slumming it. You know what I mean? Like, how bad must it be like Squindizi, Saliba to are not doing good enough to get in the team? That's exactly your point. You got midfielders out on loan. It's a weird thing. Wijnaldum is injured. King Karlstrom, so that's probably out now. Love when Luke is in the end. Yeah. Evening, guys. Big up Arsenal, Alex. Boris, he was in me. I think there's someone else saying it as well. All I'm gonna say is behave, will ya?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. So, but look, I mean, like I've said before, Arsenal just need someone to plug the gap, and I don't care who it fucking is. Anyone is better than Granit fucking Xhaka, and it's that bad. We want him back. that is how bad the situation is. We want Granit Xhaka in our team. So it must mean I don't care who it is. It could be Bob the frigging builder next door. Just get him in on loan to play in the midfield. Mate, it's yeah. Man, honestly. Guendouzi is better than Xhaka. Sambi statistically Guendouzi is second in creations, Kamara is in Ligue 1, and Saliba is better than Ben Shite. Yeah, we all know Saliba is better than Ben Shite. We all know that, trust me. Like and subscribe, share, stream, and get the watch hours up. Arteta out, Eb.
I like that, man.
He's
I like
gonna
that, man.
copyright us. I'll get demonetized now, you twat.
It was me. That was me singing, mate.
Sorry that Arsenal Football Club are letting us down. The board are letting us down. We're not getting anyone in.
No, there's plenty of people this week that have been letting people down.
Oh dear, we shouldn't laugh. Shouldn't laugh.
I shouldn't, but fuck me, it's funny. We are a joke of a club. Yeah, we are a joke. Arteta is just a sensitive prick. He's about the aforementioned players. Yeah, like it comes up with all these excuses. You're like, well, I've got no players. I've got no this. I've got no that. But you've just sold Marie and Kolasinac. But you can't play them in midfield. I said, but you told me you had no players. You've got 84 players on the books. What's going on? Like, and this ball's been bought in for COVID. It's not been bought in because I've got so many injuries. So it just makes no sense. It really just makes no sense. And I'm totally with like what Spurs were feeling on Saturday, like when it came out, because it's just not right on any sort of level. Yeah, as much as you fuck Spurs, right? I could see their point. And yeah, and then you've got Liverpool. I mean, like Liverpool, like people are thinking up. What am I trying to think? People think about having that game called off and the rest of it. So yeah, man, it's just I don't get it at all. People don't want to blame Arteta. This is the point. It's the best looking Spaniard, like the drip and everything. You can't blame that.
Yeah.
It's someone else. It's Edu. It's the board. It's the weather. It's the ball. It's the pitch. It's the blue sky. It's the clouds. It's DT. It's someone else. Sorry. But it's someone other than Mikel Arteta. That's all it is. That's all the time, and no one's ever going to call it out before what it is because they don't want to admit the truth, which is Arteta can't run a squad properly. Simple as that.
100%. Half of the fan base fancy him. Half of them want to go home and have a wank in a sock over him. It's like, seriously, get over yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Mikel Arteta is not an Arsenal legend. He played for Arsenal. He's an Everton legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this Arteta can't do no wrong. But then when it comes to Arsene Wenger, okay, he stayed too long and he had to go. But he was our, most successful manager. And people were hounding him out. But Mikel Arteta, it's like, oh, let's go and have a wank in a sock over this guy. Like, I don't get it. It makes no sense.
Don't get it. I don't get it. But, I mean, like, the latest rumours about one rumour is about Tielemans coming, like, at some point. Like, but do you believe it? Do you actually believe it? No.
Nah.
I don't.
No, I don't think so. But
and I never will believe it. Not ever. Like, so this is one of the earliest, most open seasons to get top four. I have to go with both hands, but Edu can't see it for some reason. That's their own beef, but I can understand why. I can understand exactly why, mate. Arteta is the Spanish El Nini. He was an Arsenal flop. He was like a B-Tech Xhaka in midfield. Imagine being a B-Tech Xhaka. You couldn't get much worse than a B-Tech Xhaka, could you? You must be like me then. Like, because I'm shit. Like, I mean, I don't know how good you are, Brandon, but I'm sure you're better than me. Like,
No, I don't know about that.
well, put me in goal, I might be half decent, but that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
that's about as far as it goes. Yeah, I mean, out of the options that are available, then who would you go for? Like, out of Ronaldo, like the most likely option you would take after Milo, Ronaldo, and Tillemans.
I wouldn't go for any that we're linked to, apart from maybe Wijnaldum. If I was gonna look for a midfielder who could fill the void, I'd go and put some money on the table at Aston Villa and say, look, we want Douglas Luiz. There we go.
Wow. Because they have just got Coutinho in as well, so you might be able to price him away from that.
Mate, I like that Douglas Luiz. He's a good little player.
Okay. Luca, what do you think?
In my opinion, midfield, right? I'd go and get someone like Jimmy Wijnaldum, but someone said in the chat that apparently he's injured, so that's not the case. I would maybe go for someone like Bruno Guimaraes, someone like that. That's who I would like to get in, but it's very unlikely. I think he's a really good midfielder. Maybe go for someone like McGinn as well from Aston Villa, or Douglas Luiz. I'd take any of those three, man. But realistic target you're talking about, I'll go and get Jimmy Wijnaldum. So
just talk about Vadovic. I mean, Brandon, if we got him in, like, would he have to take his time because he's coming from Serie A, which is like the worst league to compared to the Premier League, in terms of pace and power. Like, would it take time for him to adjust, or would you really think he'd be able to hit the ground running?
It's hard to know, isn't
incredible.
It's hard to know, mate. It really is, because some players it takes a long while. Some players it don't. Some players just flop. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll give you an example. Aubameyang. When Aubameyang came into Arsenal, he hit the ground running. He started scoring goals straight away. And another example of a player who come over from a foreign league that completely flopped: Andrei Shevchenko, Diego Forlan. You know, Radamel Falcao. You know, there's so many strikers that have come over from foreign leagues and haven't been able to do it in the Premier League. The guy's a young man as well. It could be a massive change for him. And to be honest with you, I don't know. It's a tough one to call. You never know. And it's a lot of money to spend on a risk, in my opinion. In my opinion, you go and you do what Manchester United used to do, and you do what Liverpool did. And you go and get players that are Premier League proven. You know, Manchester United back in the day, their transfer policy was, let's go and buy the best player in the league who doesn't play for us. Like, for example, Rio Ferdinand is one of them, you know. And then you got Liverpool. Liverpool rebuilt their squad under Klopp, and they signed Wijnaldum from Newcastle. They signed Robertson from Hull. They signed Mane from Southampton. Salah, he came from Roma, but he had previous Premier League experience. Even though he flopped, he had previous Premier League experience. So it's all about that Premier League experience for me.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's why it makes it difficult for any sort of link we go with, whether it be Vadovic, whether it be Andre Silva, whether it be anyone.
And the other thing
it's
as well,
difficult.
That's worrying me slightly is it looks to me like he's looking for these young players.
That's what
I know it's a project youth, but we've got plenty of young players, and now you need to chuck a little bit of experience around them for them to grow properly,
Yeah,
because they
you
need to
saw
have
that against
players
Man
to look
City.
up to.
You saw it against Man City when we just lost our heads. Right, and that's the main thing. That's why Vlahovic, as much as he's a great talent, he's 21, 22.
I tell you
Which,
what, Colonel Ward in the chat, he's
yeah, Jordan Ward-Prowse is a great option. Great option, actually. But I'd put him on just for free kicks, mate. Because you know he's scoring a goal if a free kick comes your way. It's like with every team, you need a blend of young and experienced. You always need that blend of it, especially like a midfield with an experienced midfielder in it. Right, and I'm not talking about bloody Xhaka. Right, so, but like up front, Vlahovic I'd take absolutely, but I mean the reason I always favour maybe Andre Silva in a sense is just because of age. The age is a bit more experience, and plus he did score on the weekend as well, which helps. So,
but I don't think striker is necessarily where you need to add the experience,
yeah,
because do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain areas in the pitch where you have to have experience, and
yeah,
midfield's one of them.
and defence.
I'd even say in central defence is another.
Yeah,
For as good as Gabriel and Ben White have been this season, I think you need an experienced centre back as well. You need an experienced midfielder or two, and yeah, it's just young kids, and they're looking up to Granit Xhaka. Do you know what I mean? Like, before we know it, within the next couple of seasons, we'll see Saka and Smith Rowe and Odegaard all getting like red cards every game and getting suspensions, because that's the only thing that they can look up to for Xhaka. Spends 90% of his time at Arsenal being suspended.
yeah. It's always the way, innit? It's just always the way. So yeah. What can we do? What can we do? Like, question: wouldn't the fact Arteta needs to buy senior players expose to the fickle masses that the fact that the PR project youth was totally BS to start with? No, because like any project youth still also needs a bit of experience in it. Like, it's like with any team, class of '92, you had Cantona, for example, coming. Like, you've had, as much as it had young team like Scholesy, Beckham, your Nevilles, like even Nicky Butt coming through, you needed that experience of I think it was Robson. I think it was at the time. Like Mark Hughes was in there at the time. Like, you still need those experienced players that have been at the club already to help grow these players, because they learn better off. I mean, look at Fabregas. Why did he turn into such a great midfielder? For 2 years, he had Vieira to learn off. He had 2 years' experience of Vieira, right? And he's been our only midfielder that's been probably close to him. So, whereas if you look at our youngsters, they're doing well, but they've got fucking Granit Xhaka to learn off. But I'm wondering why Lokonga doesn't try and like kung fu kick fucking Salah in his face, like which you'll probably see in the next game. Said, I learned it off. I thought Granit Xhaka told me to take him out. Like, that's what he taught me to do. Like like that's what I seem to get. Like, they'll always learn. The best top players will learn off players that are already top quality and are experienced, because they respect them more for what they've done in the sport already and what they've done at the club. Which is why, like, you take someone like Ronaldo, you take anyone that's also got a winning mentality as well. That's got the experience of winning like titles or anything like that. So like Ronaldo, Sanchez at Liga 1, you've got like trying to think. Yeah, there's loads of you can come up with that have got that experience. So yeah, so it's always difficult. Oh, it always will be. with us. It never is simple. Never is just simple. And as much as I want Vlahovic, I just think this is a big cover-up for what the actual issues are.
Yeah, but do you
as
honestly
always.
think Vlahovic is going to be a bit of a massive gamble? Because you have look, you got to think about it, right?
Any striker's a gamble. I've always said this.
You've got to give him a season. You got to give him a season, right? If you don't give the striker a season, then what are you asking for? So,
and this is what I've said. When you get in Vlahovic or Andre Silva, it's always going to be a risk, no matter who it is. No matter who it is.
but nobody never knew who Aubameyang was. And look what happened. He hit the ground running.
Well, we knew who Aubameyang was. He's scoring goals left, right and centre.
Well, I mean in the Premiership. So, when he came to the Premiership.
Yeah, but he already had a proven record.
He scored against Everton. So.
Yeah, but the reason we bought him is because he had a proven record in the Bundesliga. Right? So, which sort of leads me down to the road of more Andre Silva than Vlahovic, because the Bundesliga is probably a faster league than and more of a power league than the Serie A is. So it'd be more suited to adapting to the Premier League.
Yeah, but when you say that, right, I know where you're coming from because comparing to Andre Silva might have a goal scoring record. And Aubameyang for me, before he came to Arsenal, when we got rid of Olivier Giroud, you knew that obviously we were bringing Aubameyang in because you knew he had a massive goal scoring record. If you bring someone like that, then fair enough. But still, the thing is, compared to that, all strikers they might not adapt. Like even you look at Timo Werner, right? He had a goal scoring record, good start at Chelsea, and now he's a flop.
Yeah, but then look at Lukaku. He's just come from Serie A.
Yeah, but Lukaku's had more. Lukaku, I don't even rate Lukaku. Well, sort of do, sort of don't. But in a way, Lukaku, right? He came in the Premier League ages ago, and then he went to Serie A and he killed it in the Serie A. Had an amazing.
Yeah, so you would think he'd come back and he'd have Premier League experience, but now he can't.
Mate, I take Lukaku at Arsenal, 100%.
Yeah, but what makes you say that? Because he's come back so far and he's done fuck all.
Yeah, but Chelsea are different compared to Arsenal. Come on, man. You know what I mean? We're not in Chelsea's position.
Yeah, but it's all about how you adapt to the system, though. But here's the thing: it's all about how you adapt to the system, though. It's all right saying, yeah, but we're not in Chelsea's system. But hang on a minute, what's gonna make Lukaku play that's in our system, right? That you've got to look at that. Like, reason Aubameyang is getting sold and he's no longer in use is because he doesn't fit the system. He doesn't fit how we play. He wants our strikers to be a complete forward. He wants our strikers to be a complete forward, which is not just score goals, bring people into play, get our midfielders scoring goals. Aubameyang can't do that. Lacazette can do it to an extent, but he can't score the goals. So
yeah, but would someone like an Andre Silva or a Vlahovic actually suit the system? Because if you bring someone like a Vlahovic, we're supposed to be Project Youth, yeah? Vlahovic, right? How old is he? 21, 22?
21, 22. But Andre Silva, he's only a few years older, so he's got that more experience on him. Plus, also, if you look at the record, his assist record shows that he's more likely to provide assists for other players, like midfielders, to bring people into play, rather than Vlahovic, who seems to be more of a poacher. But is Andre Silva
a big name? Is Andre Silva a big name?
He is a big name. He is a big name. Is he a big name, Brandon?
I wouldn't say he's a big name.
But neither is Vlahovic, though.
No,
Vlahovic. Nobody didn't even know who Vlahovic was until this
season. Yeah,
Nobody was not talking about Vlahovic last season at all.
There you go. It's like, got my hands out. I haven't heard of Vlahovic before this window, I've been told. He's been next...
I don't know who Vlahovic is, but I'm going by what people think. People say
but this is what I'm saying. It's just like with Andre Silva, we all knew about him last season because he's outscored Haaland. He outscored Haaland. Who's supposed to be the all singing, all dancing, like
but you say that
every bloody player that wants every bloody team that wants.
Aubameyang got joint golden boot with Mo Salah and Mane once.
Yeah, and then he scored. Then he was one under Vardy in the next season. But then Arteta changed the system. Arteta came in right? He had that honeymoon period, and then afterwards he changed the system. Yeah, he had that honeymoon period where it was working, right? And then he changed the system. And now we've just found out, and I will bring it on to Aubameyang. Aubameyang has had all along, apparently, heart issues. Well, why didn't you come out with it? We wouldn't give you less stick. If you came out and said, look, I'm not playing at my best, I've got these issues, no one would have had a go at you. No one would be calling you out. No one would be slagging you off. There would have been, sympathy would have gone through the roof, right? And said, look, sorry, man, like, but because you didn't tell us, we all thought you weren't playing for the badge anymore. You didn't care. And you cared about the money. But no, it's not that. It's the fact you've got heart issues. So, like, I'll be the first one to say, look, I'll be the first one to apologise saying that you thought it. Because I thought it was all about the money now, right? But if that is the case, then I am sorry about that. I mean, Brandon, what's your take on that?
What, on the Aubameyang situation?
Yeah, and what's come out with just his heart issues and that.
The thing with his heart issues is, has he had that all along, or has he had that just because COVID, since having COVID? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because he had malaria.
Yeah, because he had malaria. He's had COVID. Yeah. He's not been well for like 100% for a while now. He's getting old.
Which also questions Arteta. Why is he picking him if he's not well? If he's not been well and Arteta's known this, why the fuck have you been playing him?
There's that as well. But
that really brings it to question. Because the amount of games we've lost because of unbalanced team, because of Aubameyang, because he's been missing.
Yeah, but I think with... I think with... I think with the fact that he's not been 100% because of his illness, I do also think as well that he's lost a yard of pace as well over the last year or so. And he doesn't look interested. That's what gets me with Aubameyang. Like, it's only really recently that he doesn't look interested. But I've never known a striker to fall off the way that he has. I mean, he's been one of the best goal-scoring strikers in Europe for the past 3 to 4 years. And then all of a sudden he just falls off where he can't hit a bar and door. And I think there's more to it behind the scenes. Maybe there was stipulations in his contract, his new contract, and, you know, maybe he was promised one or two things that we don't know about, you know, like the fact that they was going to bring in quality players rather than turn it into a project youth. Who knows? But it's clear to see that the relationship between him and Arteta is completely broken. And I don't ever think he will get back in this Arsenal side.
I think he was promised a lot of things and he couldn't get it.
No doubt.
It's a bit like the Williams thing, I think, to be honest.
No doubt. Because if you're in the prime of your years, and he was
winning trophies
in the prime of his years, and he was scoring goals as well, there was teams like Manchester United and Barcelona that were interested in him. He could have gone elsewhere, and instead he's stuck around. But what for? Do you know what I mean? Like he was saying in his little video that he did when he signed the contract that he wanted to become a legend of the club. But then you're not scoring goals. So to me, there's more to it. There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, I hear that. If he's, I think you're going about one hour. Yeah, if you look at PG's midfield, it's overloaded. That's why they want to get rid of him. That's why Pitt went out and never been able to fit in the system in the first place. You've got to fight through Verratti and all those players there. Rabiot. There's so many players you've got to fight through to get in that squad. So it's already overloaded. That's why when he went there, he was like, I want to go straight back. So, like, as much as just because he's been sitting on a bench because, like, most of the time the midfield's overloaded, it doesn't mean he's a bad player. Because he was still, I mean, he won the league not last season, the year before. He won the Champions League the year before that. And then when we all thought Liverpool were down and out of top four, he was part of the side that got him back into it. So, like, he's still a decent player. He's still a decent player, and he's better than what we've got. This is what I'm saying. Like at the minute, you can rate a player with yeah or no, but when you're buying a player on loan, it doesn't really matter if he's good or not. It's just, does he improve what you've got? And the answer is yes, he does. Right? You can't sit there and say to me you would take Granit Xhaka over freaking Ronaldo. No way, not in your life. Right? If you said that, you must be smoking some seriously heavy shit, and I want some. Right? You must be tripping. Right? But yeah. I know there's some other people we know that have been tripping, but there you go. I better not mention. Anyway, like Liverpool game coming up, Brandon. I saw your preview, which was great as usual. So if you haven't gone and done that, make sure you go and check that out with over there as well. Go check Lucas as well. Yeah. What do you feel? I'm thinking we're gonna get absolutely torn to shreds with Lokonga and Patino in the midfield.
It's a tough one to call. In my preview,
come on, be honest, mate.
In my preview, I asked the question, right? Are Arsenal the favourites? Now you might laugh at that, but the fact that we got a 0-0 draw at Anfield and the second leg is being played at the Emirates, you would have thought that we would be favourites to now go through in this tie. However, I did say as well that I don't think Liverpool can play any worse than what they did. I think Liverpool are only going to get better. And I looked back at it as well and I watched sort of the highlights, and there was one area of the pitch where Liverpool really struggled, and that was in the midfield. They struggled with that killer pass. They struggled, to create chances coming from the midfield. And
I just fucking read down, sorry.
I just think if Thiago is back for Liverpool,
he'd probably just come up to him and go, Wenger out. Oh, sorry. Go on, sorry.
I think if Thiago's back for Liverpool, I think we've got to really worry, because he is a midfielder who can find a killer pass. And not only that, depends on how we set up for the game as well. What I'd like to see...
I think Fabinho's back as well, and he's decent as well. He's been very good.
What I'd like to see is Arteta, go very cautious with this one and try and hit him on the counter and see what we can get from there. But then that also relies on the likes of Saka, Martinelli and Lacazette to finish their dinner. We had that one opportunity with Saka in the first leg and he didn't finish it. We could be talking about a 1-0 win instead of a 0-0 draw. But we've got to put the chances away when we get them. We won't get many chances against Liverpool. And like I said, I don't think they can play any worse than what they did. And I think they will create chances. They will put us under pressure. It's just whether they can finish as well, because, of course, Minamino scored at the weekend, so that might give them a bit of confidence. We know that Diogo Jota is dangerous. And we know that Firmino, for as shit as he is in terms of his goal-scoring record, he loves a goal against Arsenal. So I think our best hope of winning this game is to try and get it to penalties. Or maybe nick a 1-0 on the break.
So, yeah, I absolutely hear that, man. For me, I don't feel confident at all. If we lost in Nottingham Forest 1-0 with the Congo and Patino, could you imagine Liverpool with their midfield, even if it's weakened a little bit, they would have fun with it, because Patino, he's a young kid. It's unfair for him to be thrown into this, and it's because we've sold Maitland-Niles, so he's got no one to blame but Arteta for this, and he's going to destroy his confidence. Yeah, because he's going to destroy his confidence going forward. And what I would say to Patino is, look, no matter what happens in this game, we are never going to blame you for this, right? Because you shouldn't be in this situation, right? Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things. You will get there, right? Just take it as a good learning thing to move on, to move forward from. I think Saka is back. He is back from fatigue, right? And who fatigued him? Oh wait, Mr. Arteta. Right, so there you go. Wenger would sit him up in the prison chair and say it if I didn't see it.
I did not see.
Yeah, he'll be singing Rag and Bone Man's I'm Only Human after all. In the answer to the title of the video, no, it should have been postponed. You couldn't call games off for a couple of injuries before Omicron, so why would you now? We had enough players to play it. Yeah, absolutely, man. I absolutely agree with you, man. Right, but knowing the Arsenal fans, like some like the Arteta fans, yeah, that's all done now, man. It's best to leave that now where it is. Right, he's where he belongs. So let's put it that way. But yeah. So we're gonna come to the end of it. I'll give you Brandon your chance. What's your score prediction gonna be?
Ooh. Do you know what? I said on my stream earlier that I thought we could nick it, but now that I think about it a bit more, 3-1 Liverpool.
Ouch. Luca, what are you saying?
2-1 Liverpool.
You don't think we're gonna score? Jesus Christ!
No, I think it'll be a
You must
tight
have
game,
faith.
man. I genuinely think it will be a tight game, but I can't see us
Nah, man, we're
getting
gonna
anything
get
out of
fucked.
Liverpool. I think we're going to get piped, mate. You know what I mean? So
We'll call it. Look. This is look. If you think you're gonna get piped, I'm gonna this is exactly what I think. I'm gonna say it. We're gonna get piped 3-0. We're gonna get piped, man. We're gonna get piped.
oh my God, Chelsea didn't win. Jesus.
Jesus. Who's the midfield anchor? Tell me, and I'll give you a prediction. The midfield anchor will probably be Patino and Lokonga in the midfield.
Yeah.
So, and that was the one against Forest, basically. So, hey, Bunty, the fan cam on. He's probably doing one, man.
Yes.
He's probably doing
Yes.
it. Yes. So, big up for him for that.
Big
I
up,
do
man.
watch those when I get the chance, but which are quality. So, but yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there, man. Brandon, apart from League Honors fan cams, where else can they find you?
True Gunners TV is my own personal channel. Make sure you head over there and subscribe for more Arsenal content and a bit of banter as well. And yeah, just quickly, Stephen, though, we have still got a chance of winning this game. We just need to give Thomas Partey a Patino mask and yeah, make out like he's Charlie and get himself on the pitch. Go on, mate. You know, paint your legs or something, or do whatever you need to do just to get us and to win this game. But yeah, nah, I agree. I think we're getting a slapping. But yeah, True Gunners TV. Make sure you go over and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah, we got. Make sure you do that right now. And Luca, where can they find you?
Yeah, follow me on YouTube. This is Lucas Life. Type my channel with the apostrophe. This is Lucas Life. We do Arsenal content. I do day out vlogs and do previews and reviews. And we're 7 away from 1400. So thanks for having me on, guys.
1-0 bumming by Paul. Okay.
Chelsea drew 1-1, by the way. So.
Excellent stream. Take care, lads. No worries, man. No worries. Anytime. There's not 11 people watching.
That's good, man. Keep on it, man.
Big up everyone that has watched. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't watched, go make sure you watch it on playback. And check out all our comments. And if you agree with them or not, let us know in the comments below. Become a member and support the Children's Liver Disease Foundation by becoming a member, donating a little sum every month. There you go. Brandy Niles just subbed to you, so make sure you do the same. And yeah, subscribe, like, share the channel around. And yeah, we're back tomorrow with I think it's hot off the press show tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's hot off the press show tomorrow. Yeah, so hot off the press show tomorrow. So make sure. And by the way, KSEOut, thank you very much for using my clip again. For the red card incident with Xhaka. I just saw someone DM me that link, so I'll go and check that out now. So I really do appreciate it. So,
What's this?
yeah. He does compilation of clips of watch
is
alongs and that.
Oh yeah.
So
Is that to do with the Granit Xhaka red card against Liverpool?
Yeah. And
we
then,
were on it
we
when
know
we
it was-
lost to Nottingham Forest, didn't we?
yeah, then he did a Nottingham Forest one where we conceded. So he did.
We know
yeah,
what was
so,
going on though, don't we, mate? You know,
Yeah.
you know when you get that you see them little clip art things, and they got that little bubble in their
Yeah.
head. Xhaka was just jigging along to "Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting."
Fighting. Oh yeah, trust me, mate. Like you know it. Like, and then people saying it's only a yellow. I mean, are you blind? Like, he nearly takes his fucking head off. Like, mate, any higher, he'd take his head out. So, yeah. Chelsea, no, they have no chance. They've resigned to it. Yeah, if Arteta does, if he gets we'll give another season to Arteta in the job if he gets top four, definitely. I think like I've already said very clearly, if he gets full spot, he earns the chance to have a chance in the Champions League, which is, I think, fair. As much as people may say still get rid of him, I say it's fair to give him a chance. So, of being in a top flight.
Wow, you've actually given him a chance. Jesus Christ.
Luca, if you listen, I am saying I am not being Arteta in. I am saying I'm giving him the season to try and prove himself in the top division, right? In the top flight of European football, right? Because he's gone and earned that right. But it doesn't mean I'm Arteta in. I still want him out. If you give me the option, I'll take anyone else over Arteta. Still.
We're not going to get
because he's not in a title race.
If you don't get top four, deport him, and then
Mate,
then
I'll
we'll
pay
have,
his fucking tax. No, even up the port him. I'll happily even pay for the privilege of driving him there and paying for the fucking flight. And
and then just employ AirPod Albert afterwards.
Yeah,
Why
man.
not?
So make sure you do it. So but yeah, make sure you'll go like, subscribe. It's put if but make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, bye bye.